Well, welcome to another episode of Everyday a Holiday. I am so excited for this conversation. More than just an interview, it's not an interview, it's an actual conversation between friends, between people that have gone through so many things. But the most important thing is to be able to be on the other side, saying, yes, I went through this, but this is what I learned. And I am not alone, as you guys can see. I am here with Laura Perez, or you guys can, I met her when she was Laura Hoyos, but now she's Laura Perez, because as you guys can see her, she is married, she has a beautiful life, but I met her when she was a little girl. So to me, to be able to see her how she is now, it's incredible. I admire you. I am so happy because I know that we're going to be able to learn so much today. And I know that God is going to speak to us. So Laura, how are you doing?
I'm very well, and I'm so happy and grateful to be here. Actually, a lot of what we're going to talk about today, I feel like
Mm.
has been engraved in my heart through your teachings and just your conversations. So I'm very grateful for your life. I'm grateful that we are having this conversation. Um, and I'm excited to just learn and to acknowledge all that God has done. I think it's going to be very awesome.
Yeah, I'm so happy. And I think that one of the most beautiful things, honestly, about all of this is just vulnerability, to be able to be vulnerable, honest. And that is not a gift that we give to people. That's actually a gift that we give to ourselves, to be honest, to be able to embrace those emotions and say, you know what, we have gone through things, but those things do not define us, but we have been able to actually grow from that. And today, we're going to be talking about silent grief or silent pain. And the reality is that we have all gone through pain. I mean, all of us in different situations, in different, in different ages, we all have experienced pain at some point of our lives. And in my case, I don't like pain. The only pain that I like, though, is when I'm doing exercise. Not that I'm a extra fitness girl. You might be able to talk more about that. But in my case, when I do exercise, for example, I love to go bike riding. When I'm, riding my bike, there is this pain that you get, after like maybe a mile and a half, 2 miles, where you're like, okay, that maybe the street is going a little up. And that's the kind of pain that I like, because I know I am working my legs. But when it comes to emotional pain, I honestly just want to run from it. I actually, because of my personality and my temperament, which is what we are born with, I don't like anything that has to be emotional, which means that if I want to cry, or if I want to feel like, ugh, and it's going to be painful, I just try to be alone. I try to isolate myself. I try to put the big wall. But there is some type of pain that we can't run from. There is actually some situations that we just have to go through, and either we just die trying to go through it, or we learn and we get up. And that's our case. And I love to be able to say our case, because we have gone through pain, similar pain, in the topic that we're going to talk about today. And I'm just glad that we are able to speak about this, because I call it a silent pain or a silent grief, because so many women, and actually couples, husbands, have gone through this, and we just don't talk about it. It's something that it's not brought up at a conversation, it's not brought up at a birthday party, it's not brought up at a Starbucks run. It is just something that you keep to yourself. At least in my case, I kept it to myself. Maybe I told a certain people, but it's just not something that we can talk about, that it's something that it's out there. And so, Laura, if you want to talk to us a little bit about you. You got married, you had so many dreams, which
Yeah.
I know that most of those dreams, were when it comes to having an amazing job, and then something happened, like you guys decided something. So tell us a little bit about
Yeah. Okay, so I'm originally from Colombia.
it. Woo! Me too,
Yes,
me too, me
Colombia,
too.
beautiful country. If you haven't been, visit it. I moved to the U.S. at the age of 9, and I was raised in South Florida. Always believing in God in one way or another. Colombia is a faith-filled country. It's a
Yeah.
country where people tend to believe in God, or in something in faith. And so At the age of 14, I wasn't really like in a relationship with God, but at the age of 14, my friend invited me to a youth group. It was just a themed party, and I was like, party, I'm a teenager, it's summer,
Okay.
let's go. There, I gave my life to Jesus, and my life changed forever.
Mm.
Funny thing is that the person who invited me to that party is now my husband.
How?
And yes, so we've been married for 5.5 years. We always said that at around 5 year mark, we were gonna start trying to conceive. Being surrounded by lots of friends and lots of friends with kids, nephews, and so on, we kind of decided a little bit early at like year 3. We decided, so basically around 2018, 2 years ago, we decided we were going to just try it out, see what happened, no pressure. People get pregnant. Sometimes it takes a month, 2, 3 months, a year, so we're fine. And a year passed by and nothing happened. I think that because we weren't, we still had that, 5 year goal. I was fine. I'm an A-type personality. I'm the achiever. I'm the goal oriented. So I still have, another year to go for my goal. I'm fine, no pressure. But another 6 months, huh?
We're still in a good timing.
Yeah, I'm still in good timing. No pressure. I'm living my life. I'm enjoying things. And it's funny because, every time I talk about it, I learn something new, but a lot of times our personality and, the way we think things are good and we're living life great. And there's always something in our personality that affects the way we think and we react. Um, and so 6 months passed by. It was already a year and a half and nothing happened. And usually after 12 months of trying to conceive, that is considered infertility. It's a point where now your doctor refers you to an infertility specialist to start doing tests. And so we started the process, still having an extra 6 months left for our goal. So it's not a goal, like having a kid is, like this achievement, but that was what my mind had, like that's what I had in mind. And within those 6 months, I conceived. So God was good. 2 years later, after officially stating, making it official in our family, we wanted to conceive, we conceived, and we were so happy. I remember announcing it to my family, and even though part of me, because it took so long for us to conceive, I was very cautious. I also was excited to celebrate, and so I recorded videos of us announcing it. We even announced it to one of my nephews, well, all of our nephews and nieces, but one of them was 5 at the time. And we thought he could hold the secret, but he couldn't. So he shared it in church, and people were congratulating me. And I was like, okay, God, I'm having faith here. I was supposed to keep it a secret. We traveled and we had like all these like fun things that we were saying in our trip. Our baby's the size of a blueberry. When we look at these pictures, we're going to know we were pregnant. And then we went to our 8-week appointment, and I'm a researcher too. Again, the achiever tries to be well aware. And so I researched.
You want to
Yes.
make sure you know everything.
Right. I need to know. I need to know it all. I'm not the doctor, but I'll go in there ready with questions.
Yeah.
And so I knew about the possibilities of miscarriage at 8 weeks. There's still a high possibility of miscarriage, but I didn't know of all the possibilities. So I went in with a question: is this an ectopic pregnancy, which means that the babe, it's not a baby, but it's attached to the fallopian tube. I don't want to get too technical. They said no, so I was super happy. My husband was happy. But they said, we don't see a heartbeat. There's no heartbeat. So just come back in 2 weeks. There's a chance that maybe you're a little bit early, right? And we were still excited, but at the same, they gave us a lot of peace. And point is that 2 weeks later, I miscarried a day before, or a day or two before my 10-week appointment. So that was very hard. I remember rainbows, seeing lots of rainbows, before, a few weeks before, and just believing this is my promise. Like I have a baby, like not even like obviously knowing that God could do anything, but trusting God. And unfortunately, I saw the rainbow, and I know that God put in my heart that there was a promise. So many things happened in between that God spoke to us about parenting, you know, like things in our heart that we felt like, you know, He spoke to us. We're parents, we're going to be parents. And it didn't happen that way. And that was painful. I remember when I started miscarrying, I was in my job at the headquarters of our job. So, you know, everyone was there. And I just wanted to cry and leave. And they kept giving me more work. And I just had to hold it together. And as I was driving home, this song played on my playlist. And it was just God. It was a song about how when things don't go right, we're not alone. Like we're never alone. And it's kind of like this desire of, I wish it could go my way, but even though it didn't go my way, I'm not alone. And I just knew like, okay, this is the moment where I have to confront the truth. And then the process started. The process of grieving started.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I think that once I don't know why, but it's like magical for for us women. As soon as they tell us you're pregnant, there is a growth of illusion. Like you just have this illusion inside of you that allows you to dream. You start thinking about names, you start thinking about nurseries, you start thinking about color palettes if you're a type
Yeah.
A personality. You start just researching and just going through so many things. And you know, you have so much ideas that they're not ideas, they're actually truths in your heart that allow you to feel. So you feel this love for a little something that you haven't even seen.
Yeah.
I love the way that you're telling the story, because it's usually how it happens to many of us. You want to, you decide finally to say, yes, I want to, let's try. And then you try, you get pregnant, and it's this happiness. And in between the happiness, you got to be cautious. You can't be jumping around and going crazy. That
Yeah.
it is good to wait a couple of weeks until you tell everybody, but still you have that faith. And I mean, we have the same friends, the same circle of friends, and we have seen it in them. They're like, oh, we're pregnant, and then after, oh, let me invite you to your baby shower, and then you go and visit the baby at the hospital. So it's just like the circle of life, like that's how it is. But to put it bluntly, in my life, I have always strived for excellence. So again, I am an ABC girl. You tell me what to do, I'll follow it. And motherhood obviously was not the exception. I always have strived for excellence. So I wanted to maintain that level of excellence. So when I got married, it was the same thing. I said, well, 4 years after, we want to start trying. And I remember that I told, and this is perfectionism at its best, which is something that I deal with. Actually, just like someone is addicted to drugs, so
Yeah.
I am addicted to perfectionism and workaholism. So to me, I just want things in order, on time, and that's something that I work with daily.
Yeah.
So I remember that I had a conversation with my husband, and I told him, okay, let's try. I would love to get pregnant so that I can have the baby during the summer. So as soon as school starts in September, baby's ready to go. And
Yeah.
guess what? This is what happened. I got pregnant. I got pregnant. I had Isabella Grace, my daughter. She's about to be 10 years old, which is crazy. But you know what? But she was there, and I was just like, okay, this is crazy. She was born July 29th, okay,
Yeah.
during the summer. And,
Wow.
we said, okay, so let's just wait 2 more years. And then when she's 2 years, we're going to try again. And, and it's crazy because unfortunately, I was brutally reminded that there are two definitions associated with the word exceptional. Number one is exceptionally good, and then the other one is exceptionally unusual. Because I remember that I got pregnant and I was super happy. I already knew exactly how I wanted to present it and tell everybody. I called my parents, I told my brothers. I was just so happy. And then I remember that we went to our 6-week appointment. and they couldn't find a heartbeat. They couldn't find a baby. It was just the sac. And the doctor told me, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Just go back home, and I'm sure that in 2 weeks we're gonna be able to see the baby. Which is the typical answer that they give you. And I remember that I went home. I obviously had Isabella, and I was putting her to sleep, and I actually felt like I never had pain, which is super weird. Never had pain. I just felt something moving in my stomach, and I wanted to sneeze. And when I sneezed, I had a discharge, and I was like, what is going on? I went to the bathroom, and obviously I knew that it was a miscarriage.
Wow.
And I feel like us moms, even though we have never gone through it, we just feel it. And I just felt it. I really thought that that was a miscarriage. I went to the hospital. My dad, thank God, was at home. He stayed with the baby, sleep like she was already sleeping, and I went with my husband to the hospital. I remember that I went. We were there for hundreds of hours, and
Mm.
when they checked, they told me, "Have you ever been pregnant?" I'm like, "I have a 2-year old," and I remember the doctor telling me, "You have nothing." Like literally, uh,
Mm.
what we saw the week before, it's like nothing. You have like a 15-year-old, like inside of you. You look like a 15-year-old, like you have never been pregnant, like you're
Wow.
perfectly fine. And to me, I felt it super weird. I remember my husband's, it was a really hard process for him because he was very excited. But to me, I took it like, okay, so I guess it was a miscarriage. This is weird. And I've, because I have gone through inner healing, I knew I had to talk to someone. I remember that I grabbed the phone, I called someone, and that lady told me, "Wow, Steph, thank you for telling me." Well, I went to 5 miscarriages before my second son. I'm like, what? And then she starts telling me, "Yeah, ask Fulani, ask this girl, and ask her, and ask her." Yeah, everybody has gone through it. And to me, it was a huge surprise to know that so many women go through the same thing.
Yeah.
That, but it's a silent pain because a lot of them never told anybody. They
Mm.
just saw it happened. Some of them had to get taken, the baby taken away. Some of them were more weeks, and it was just like, wow, I guess I'm not the only one. That was honestly the feeling that I had. And because I'm an overachiever, I just focused in work.
Mm.
Literally, it happened on a Thursday. On a Monday, I was already working again. Life is good. I have a daughter. There is lots of goals to go through. There is lots of things that I need to do. Let me just occupy myself exactly how I like to do it, and let me just jump in and keep on doing things how I like to do them. And honestly, I never grieved that
Mm.
miscarriage. And just not to make it long, I got pregnant again. And I was super excited. Actually, I didn't want to go to the doctor. I was like, I'm just gonna go in January. We had in December, we had an outing. We were gonna go to Orlando, and for the first time in 16 years, my grandma, she was gonna come to the United States, and we were gonna take her to Disney. So you can already imagine. I mean, my grandma, haven't seen her in 16 years. I'm gonna surprise the whole family, and I'm gonna tell them in front of Mickey's castle that I'm pregnant again. That actually the miscarriage that happened 6 months ago, forget about it. I'm pregnant again, and this time it's gonna be amazing. Why? Because I love God, because I have faith,
Yeah.
because I have been, quote unquote, a good girl who does whatever God wants her to do. I have been obedient. I have taken care of myself. I am taking my pills. It can't go wrong. And that was my mentality. That was my mindset. It can't go wrong. And I remember entering Disney World and having lots of pain. And I told my husband, we were about to go in, and I told my husband, I need to go to the bathroom. I don't feel good. And he just looks at me, and I'm like, I need to go. I go to the bathroom before entering the park, and a miscarriage. I mean, you can already imagine everything that I didn't live the first time. I lived it the second time. There was a lot of pain. I got out of the bathroom. I couldn't even walk. I'm crying, and I just told my husband, "We need to go. I just had a miscarriage." And I remember that my husband just looked at me, my family, everybody, everything froze, and we were like, "What is going on?" And then the guy that we were in the information center, he just looks at me and he's like, ma'am, we need to take you to the hospital now. And I'm like, no, 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 it's fine. We can, like, I can go back to my car. And they're like, no. In
Wow.
minutes, they brought an ambulance. And as you guys know, everything is big and beautiful at Disney World. Everything was crazy and big and beautiful. They took me in front of everybody, 80,000 people, in an ambulance, and they took me to Celebration Hospital. They took me to a hospital, and I remember they told me, I went back and they told me the same thing. Oh, we can't see a baby. There's only a sac. We don't know what happened,
Wow.
but you can just go back home. And I'm like, I don't even live here. And the lady just looks at me and she's like, you know what? If I was you, I'll stay still. I wouldn't move because I've seen miracles happen. And that just brought me back to so much faith, to the faith that I had. And I was like, you know what, I can do this, it's going to be fine. And I remember that I went back to the hotel where we were staying, or the house that we had rented, and I had so much pain. The next day, and throughout the whole night, I just had pain. We got home super late to the vacation home. And I remember that not only I was sad, I was mad. And I wasn't mad at my husband, I wasn't mad at myself, I was mad at God, because I kept on asking him why. And I think that was the first time that I truly confronted my emotions, and that I was as honest and as raw as I could be. I remember that I told my husband, I want you guys to leave. He brought me breakfast, lunch, and dinner, literally. It was hilarious because he literally just brought me everything. And they left. I told him, I want to be alone, I don't want to talk to anybody, I just want to go, I just want to stay here. And I remember that I stayed, and I cried. I asked God why. I told him, I've been serving you for so many years, why is this happening? And he reminded me a time, and I'm sure that God has spoken to you, Laura, of the reason. And I'm not saying that the reason why you have miscarriages is because of this or because of that, but God truly speaks to you through pain.
Yeah.
And he truly aligns your life and gives you, like, I don't know what it is, but it's like there is a character builder when pain happens. And I was able to embrace my pain. And I remember he brought me back to a time when I was like 18 years old, that I told God, God, I give you everything. I mean, I've been a youth pastor and a kids ministry pastor for years, so I know the pain that kids go through and youth go through. So I remember giving him, like, like my all, like those prayers that we have done with him, that we have said to him, I give you my everything, but please do not touch my children.
Mm.
Listen, I wasn't even married. I didn't even have kids, but I was already conditioning God and telling him, do not touch my children. I'll give you everything but. And I remember that God reminded me that it was just like a vision that I had. Just like this weird reminder that I had. And literally my tears went up, and I was like, this is it. I have loved my kids, Isabella, and my future children more than God. I I have, and I say this with so much pain, because I've been wanting to control my life in the name of Jesus. You know what I mean? But I wanted to control my life. I wanted to know exactly the timings, exactly how it was supposed to happen, and everything going after perfectionism, everything going after achievement. So, okay, I graduated from college, good, I got a job, good, I got a house, good, I got a husband, good, I got married. It was just like this. It was everything about goals, and it was not about truly purpose.
Yeah.
And when that happened, my life changed forever, and I'm sure that yours have changed forever. I mean, to me, every day a holiday started that day of understanding that it's not about living in perfectionism, that it's not about controlling my life. Truly, I have no control, but we play God, and I played, and I wanted to be God, and choose when, and choose how, and choose why. And I had to learn to just let it go. And to finish my story, because I really want to know about you and everything that God has done with you, because I know it's amazing, and I know that people need to hear you and are going to learn so much, whether they have gone through miscarriages or any loss in their lives. It could be a job, it could be a family member, it could be a relationship, whatever grief that you have lived. What I can tell you today is that you need to embrace that pain.
Yeah.
And to me, um, like honestly, just I was able to realize that I am not God. I was able to realize that I needed to let go of control, and that's
Yeah.
what I did. I let go of control. I erased all the apps. I threw away all the fertility. I don't know. It has a name, but I
Why?
just threw away
Yeah.
everything,
The
the
test.
temperature or whatever, and I
Yeah.
just, you know what? I found contentment. I found truly joy, which is that in the middle of the pain, you are able to find that joy because God spoke to me and told me, I am your everything. And when you give me everything, I make sure that on my time, I give you what you need, not what you want, but what you
Yeah.
truly need.
That's good.
And that's what happened. I found out that I was pregnant with Luca when I was about 10 weeks. I couldn't even believe it. When I got my due date, I was like, I'm going to have a baby in 6 months. Like, what is going on? And with Isabella, before she was born, her nursery was ready. Everything was built. When Luca was born, it was completely different. He slept in my room. He had a little bed, and as he grew, we started doing the nursery. Control was not part of my life anymore. I just
Wow.
allowed God to align and to tell me, is it easy? It's not easy. In every little situation and stage of my life, I've had to learn to let go and
Oh,
truly not just control my life and think that I know better, but just allow God. So, in your case, Laura, how do you define pain, and how and what has pain taught you?
yeah. So my definition of pain, I'd say it's a signal. It's a signal in the form of hurt. A lot of us see pain as a feeling. A lot of people tend to say that pain is weakness leaving the body, and that sounds amazing. Yes, like you could think of just working out, and you're working out, and you're just like, pain. I feel pain. Pain is weakness, feeling weakness leaving the body. But the truth is that pain, yes, it's a feeling, and we could say it's weakness leaving the body, but it's a signal,
Yeah,
right? It's a signal that something needs to be addressed. And this signal, to me, it's in the form of hurt. So the funny thing is that I experienced emotional pain with my miscarriage, but also physical pain. And
wow.
in my personality, I think I tend to be very self-aware. Since I was little, I would always ask why this, why that, and my family still till today goes crazy, like, why do you always ask the why? But I think that that has helped me in really creating mental health.
Yeah,
So when I found out, when they told us, oh, you might be a little early on that first appointment, the first thing I did was, I'm going to reach out to my friends. I need prayer. I need a support group. I know the importance of community. I'm not afraid to express, hey, I'm in need. My husband, on the other hand, he's very to himself, and we both have come to an agreement that it's okay if I reach out and I just give him the space to process things. But I reached an emotional closure by the time that I had the miscarriage. I had 2 weeks of thinking, okay, I have people praying for me. When I reached out to people, I found out, like you, how many other women had gone through that. I had no idea that 80% of my friends had had a miscarriage, at least one.
yes,
Never had I spoken to them about it.
yeah,
And it was very encouraging to know that I wasn't alone. And that showed me the importance of community. So as I speak about this, I just want to emphasize how important it is to reach out to relationships. And I think that the more we isolate, the longer our process of healing in general is, or of growth and health. But when I had the miscarriage, I was like, okay, I'm ready for this. I'm crying because it hurts.
yeah,
I'm channeling. It's okay to cry. I told myself, cry as much as you need because it's part of the closure. But by the end of, a few days later, I was fine. The thing is that my miscarriage took a while. It's not just like, okay, you lost whatever there was, whatever sac there was, it's gone. In some cases, that's how it happens. But for me, I had to wait about a week. So I started miscarrying little by little. And I remember when I called the doctor, I was like, I'm bleeding. And she's like, okay, you're definitely miscarrying. I was like, okay, like, you're just gonna tell me like that, you know? But it's so normal for them. And I was just like, okay, I guess I'm miscarrying. The doctor's okay with it, so I need to be okay with it. But I really let it happen. You know, like for a few hours, I was like, if my doctor's okay with it, if it's so normal, then I need it to be normal too. But I knew deep inside that there were emotions, there was a signal of hurt, right? And I needed to be aware of it. And I just cried and cried. But once I was fine, there was a physical pain, there was a physical signal of hurt. And that was what took a toll on me, because I just had to be reminded for several days that I was not pregnant and that I couldn't have closure. And that led me to awareness. I feel like God wanted to teach me that the importance of that signal, you know, that if we want to give purpose to our pain, we have to be aware of it.
Yes,
And
yes,
that awareness takes time, right? It takes knowing where is the pain. Because if I'm exercising and I feel pain, yes, there's weakness leaving the body, but if I'm not aware of where the pain is, I could actually be making myself even weaker. I
yes,
could be hurting myself because I could be doing the exercise wrong without realizing that it's the wrong type of hurt. So
yes,
I need to be aware of the signal. What is the signal telling me? How do I need to respond? Should I cry? Should I ask for help? Should I write about it? What am I feeling? What am I going through? That's where the process starts. So I think that I learned that pain is a signal. It's not bad. Pain is not a bad feeling. And I think that something that we learn, our brains are wired to protect us from pain, right? Like if we put a hand on a stove, I'm
immediately.
sure that no one is going to come back and say, let me put it a second time. Let me put the other hand and make it even. No, like our brain protects us from that pain. And so, in general, our brain has a mechanism to make us avoid pain. We grew up thinking if you're in pain, avoid it. Don't worry about it. Move on. Think of something happy and just change. Put a smile on. But as we grow, even though we grow physically, we also need to teach our brain to mature. And it's like, okay, brain, I understand you're trying to protect me, but there is some type of pain that I need to go through to grow stronger.
Yeah,
Some pain, we look for it, like the exercise or discipline in some cases, but there's pain that's inevitable. And we need to read the signal and be able to follow our gut. God gave us that sense, that sixth sense. So what is my sixth sense making me feel? And so because of the physical and emotional pain, I really had to just read the signal and process it. And sometimes I was just like, why is it taking so long, God? Like, I already moved on. I'm great. You
got it.
know, I got it together. You know, I learned the lesson. Let's move on. But no, because God cares. God cares about
Yeah.
not just the short run, but the long run. And I believe that through that process, God was teaching me to deal with pain in general. And I'm so grateful for that.
That's incredible. And what has how does pain help us grow? Like, how do you think? Because I think that everybody processes pain differently. You know,
Yeah.
you said it. Like, there is people that just they are into themselves. Some people just put big walls. Some people isolate. Some people just cry their pains away. Some
Yeah.
people, you know, it's very easy to distract themselves with some type of you know, like with alcoholism, or you know, some type of drug, or relationships, going from a relationship to a relationship. Like, we all go through pain differently.
Yeah.
When you say that pain, it's something that we have to embrace, that we have to let it, like, we have to live it. what
Yeah.
what how can pain truly help us grow? Like, how can we become better
Yeah.
after the pain?
Well, speaking of that, I think that I've learned that healthy things grow.
Mhm.
So if I'm able to first become aware of my pain, okay, I'm feeling pain, that's huge. And sometimes we think about it like, of course, you know, you're going through pain, but so again, going through life with pain and just avoiding it or hiding it, shoving it in the back is so easy. So awareness is so important. being aware of what I'm feeling on a daily basis. And that includes the pain that I'm going through, the deceptions, the disappointments. Taking responsibility for that pain is so important. And I think that growth comes not just from being aware of it, but what we do after, which is second, acknowledging it, and third, taking action. So the second thing is, okay, I'm telling myself that I am feeling pain, but how am I acknowledging it? Going to the root cause. Why am I feeling like this?
Mhm.
What is causing that pain? Am I doing something to cause the pain, or am I not setting a boundary to let someone hurt me? Is there something, like, what is causing, why am I feeling like this? That's so important. That second part of acknowledgement creates, it opens a door for action.
Mhm.
So first I need to know what I'm feeling. Second, I need to acknowledge why I'm feeling like that and what is causing it. And now that I know the what and the why, now I can take action and say, okay, so it's my responsibility to read the signal of pain. How am I going to react to that? What am I going to do to protect myself? I'm responsible for myself. What do I need to forgive? Do I need to forgive myself? Do I need to ask someone for forgiveness? Do I need to create certain boundaries? And that comes in general in so many areas. But in this case, I realized that I needed to go deep and feel as I felt for as long as I needed to. And sometimes that made other people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, it would make my husband uncomfortable,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
right? And it's like, I understood that it made him uncomfortable, but he allowed me to feel that. And,
mm,
we cannot take responsibility for other people's feelings, like,
yeah.
we need to be okay with looking for our mental health, even when that means that other people are going to be uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, that doesn't mean we're going to disrespect people, but just creating that no one is going to care for ourselves more than our me,
Yeah, for sure. And I
right?
think that, when it comes to pain or going through any type of pain, we don't know how to react. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what to do, because usually when pain happens when you're a kid, depending on how you dealt with pain when you were a kid, that just
Yeah,
becomes a mindset when you grow up. So if your parents are like, well, why did you get hurt? You need to move on, get up. That's how we start associating pain. I need to get up. I need to act like nothing is happening. Or I need to be depressed. I need just to be in bed. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to chat with nobody. So it's just different ways. We just
yeah,
have to find the healthy way. And the healthy way, it's exactly what you're saying. We need to embrace, we need to acknowledge, we need
yeah,
to know why. I think that one of the best gifts that we can give to ourselves is being curious. We need to ask why. Like,
yeah,
yourself, why is it that I'm feeling this way? Why every time I hear that word, I hear that song, or I listen to that song, my body reacts differently? Why?
mhm,
And
yeah,
after that, take action. And that's my next question for you, actually.
yeah.
What is your mindset now? Like, how do you see pain now? How do you, because obviously we know you're having a baby, but not right now. So my question is, what is your mindset, and what has changed from your daily routine, your beliefs, and
Mhm.
everything after you went through that experience?
So I think the moment I realized it wasn't gonna happen, I had a choice, right? Again, awareness, acknowledgement, action. So I had to choose if I was gonna keep living in that pain or just start the path to healing, and that meant waking up each day thanking God for what I had,
It's,
right?
yeah.
So I didn't have a baby. I didn't have the chance to plan for my baby shower, to start decorating a room, but I have freedom to go out and adventure, which I love to adventure and to travel and to be active. So I get to enjoy this freedom a little more. Like, and I started to make a list. What do I have? Like, what do I get to enjoy? What am I thankful for? And there's a verse in the Bible in Psalms 107:1 that talks about how it says, give praise to the Lord, for he is good. His faithful love endures forever. And that's such a beautiful verse when everything is great. Give thanks to the Lord. God, thank you. Ooh, everything's going great. I have a job. I have family. I have money. I have everything. But that verse took so much power in my life, because when you are in pain, when you are hurting, and you
It's
say,
very difficult to
God,
do.
thank you because you are good.
Yeah.
It's not my way. I don't have control,
Mhm.
but I choose to thank you because I know that even when things are not my way, you are good and your love endures forever. You love me. I'm going through a pain, but you are with me. And I think that going to that, what changed for me is getting up each day with that reality. I think that again, when we make that a daily habit, we are prepared for the pain. Like whenever we live like that on a daily basis, when the struggle comes, our soul is already used to that. So I think that it's not just saying, okay, I'm going to keep that in mind, note check for when I go through a struggle. It's every day waking up with that, what do I get to have today? Because the truth is that pain is inevitable. We're always going to hurt. And just because we are in a waiting season, it doesn't mean that God has forgotten about us. You
Exactly.
know, every season of our lives is going to have a waiting season, a painful season, something that is at loss. And that is a reality, whether you're the most spiritual person or not.
Yeah.
And in fact, if we look at the Bible, the people that we read about are people that went through pain. Those are the people that God trusted. So
Yeah.
I learned that actually my pain is a reflection of my proximity to God, because God is believing in me. He believes that I have what it takes to go through the pain and come out victorious. And so looking at it not like, why is this happening to me? Why me? Why me and not them? Why does it look so good for others and not me? But knowing that God has trusted us, that God created us with the capacity to go through this and come victorious, that really pain is making us stronger. Weakness is living my body, is making me better because I'm deciding to go through the journey, cross it, not just avoid it, not just jump through it or fly through it, skip it, like take the shortcut. I am going to cross this. And so yeah, just living with that, like I'm going to wake up each day looking at what I do have and knowing that my pain has the power to encourage others. So I feel like what you said, vulnerability is crazy. Every time that I take the risk to be vulnerable, I feel inside like I'm getting muscles and I'm a superhero and I feel stronger. Like after I release it, I'm like, I feel stronger. I feel like this is going to help someone. So I'm grateful. Like as I started sharing it on social media and just people in general, um, I am so encouraged to see how other people relate, how other people gain encouragement, and how our pain is not meant to be kept to ourselves. It's actually meant to serve as a story for others people to find courage. And that's actually what, in the moments of my life where I've learned the most and the people that I admire the most are those that are authentic, those that I can relate to and say, well, you've gone through that and here you are. That's amazing. I can too. There's this other area in my life that I'm struggling with, but if you can do it, I can do it. Let's do it together. And I just want to add one thing, and it's that, again, going through loss doesn't mean that God has forgotten us.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that God loves us less, or it doesn't mean that we failed and that our pain is the result of something that we did wrong. Because that's not true. And, God promises to be there the whole way if we allow Him to help us create that awareness, that acknowledgement, and that action. We're not meant to do it alone. And it sounds so simple, but it's not easy. But He's with us, the whole way.
Amen. Amen. And I believe so. I believe that pain has the power to make us stronger. I believe that once you are able to stop distracting yourself, you know,
Mm,
stop acting like there is nothing happening, or people don't care. People don't care about my story. And I think that that's where um, not only inner healing, but also emotional maturity comes. And it's knowing who are you going to share this with.
yeah.
Not about posting it on Facebook or posting it on Instagram and hello everybody. Once
Yeah.
you're comfortable, then you can share your story. But before that, I'm talking about the pain. Once you, just like we said the steps and Laura shared them with you, once you are able to take action because you already were aware and you already identified the pain, then I need to take action. And the action is I need to talk to someone, I need to look for help.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
God is always there, but we also need to be able to speak to someone about this. And I just want to, leave you guys because, there was so much wisdom. Thank you, Laura, because this is reality. Pain is reality. We can't escape from it, even though we want to. We will go through it. The question is, and just like she was sharing her mindset, we got to learn to be gratitude. We got to learn gratitude. We got to learn to be thankful for the things that we have, and for the things that we don't have. But because we don't have them doesn't mean that we cannot be happy.
Mm,
Sometimes we're just living in the future. And let's be honest, and I think this is the perfect time to talk about this because we can give the example. We don't know how tomorrow is going to look like.
yeah.
That's why every day a holiday is a movement that we just want everybody to be able to join, because we can't go to the past and we have no idea how tomorrow is going to look. The
Yeah.
time that we have is today, now. So the question is what are you going to do today? Are you going to be present in the day with the people that are surrounding you, with the people that you have right now? Or is your mind focused in the what ifs, or is
Mm,
it focused in what's going to happen tomorrow? And I just want to invite everybody to, let's not distract ourselves. Let's embrace that pain and just follow, what Laura was sharing of, being aware of what's happening, knowing and identify the pain, and also take action. And even though everybody processes pain differently, everybody goes through pain.
yeah.
I'm gonna repeat it again. Everybody processes pain differently, but we all go through pain. And if we all go through pain, we all need to take action. And I just love this quote that my friend gave me. She went through a crazy situation and crazy pain. And I remember she came back from, from a place that she went to restore and to learn and just basically get help. And I remember she came and she said, you know what, Steph, I needed to let it hurt. I needed to let it bleed. I needed to let it heal. And now it's my time to let it go. And
Wow.
I believe that you and I, Laura, we have been able to, it hurt.
Yeah.
We bleeding, we were able to get healed. And today we let it go.
Yeah.
And, once you let it go, you can share your story. And the question is, what story are you telling yourself? Because the story that you tell yourself becomes your truth, and that truth is what takes action in the way that you speak and the way that you act and react. So God is, he is the perfect God who recycles our tears.
Mm,
So God recycles our tears to be able to use them and to
yeah.
be able to use that pain to help others. So Laura, any final thoughts?
I just want to say one of the biggest lessons I obtained from this season, and really the last few years have been full of great things, but also losses and uncertainty. And it's that um, running, I've learned to run to the uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's not easy, but when we run towards the uncomfortable, that's where we find growth. It's
Mm,
not staying where we're at. It's not feeling comfortable. It's not the easy, but it's looking at the challenge and saying, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm not gonna run from it. I'm not going to avoid it. I'm gonna run to it, and I'm capable. I got what it takes. And even if I don't feel like it, I'm gonna go and face it.
mm,
And there's so much beauty and strength and growth in doing that. um so just want to leave you with that, to start making a list of what am I going through today, what am I feeling. Hey, this is the perfect time. We're in coronavirus pandemic. I don't know about you, but I know that I have tons of emotions flowing through me every
mm.
day, things happening, things changing. So this is a perfect time for us to start addressing our pain, our emotions, and just run to them, start acknowledging them, and not run from them. And we'll find so much growth and healing and health in it. And definitely, as we look for towards help, as we run towards the uncomfortable, beautiful things happen.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, Laura. I think that anybody that is listening, I know that you left with some beautiful nuggets of wisdom, but also a step of action. Don't be, and I ask myself, I keep on reminding myself this, I don't want to be just a listener, I want to be a doer. So
Yeah.
take action. I know God is speaking to you directly, giving you instructions. So let's listen to those instructions. Let's write down how we feel. Let's take action. And I know that through this pain, maybe it's not the same pain that we went through. Maybe it's another type of pain. But what I can tell you, what we can tell you today, is that that pain is going to allow you to grow. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to click, to like, to subscribe. But the most important thing is to just take action and decide to live your everyday as a holiday, because God is a good God. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
So much. Bye.